Hello and welcome. Arles, France, December 23rd, 1888. It was a cold winter night that would change the history of art forever. We've all heard the story. A mad genius, driven by a heated argument with his friend Paul Gauguin, takes a razor, cuts off his own ear, and hands it to a woman at a nearby brothel. For over a century, this has been the ultimate symbol of the tortured artist. But what if I told you that almost everything we thought we knew about that night, from how much of the ear was cut to why it actually happened, was partially wrong? New evidence has emerged from old archives, letters that were never read and sketches that were hidden for 70 years. Today, we aren't just looking at a painting, we are reopening a cold case. Was it just madness, or was there a specific heartbreaking trigger? Part 1. The Yellow House and the Dream of a Colony. To understand the tragedy, we have to understand the dream. Vincent van Gogh moved to Arles to start the Studio of the South. He wanted to create a brotherhood of artists. He invited Paul Gauguin, the man he admired most. Vincent spent months preparing. He painted the famous sunflowers just to decorate Gauguin's room. He was looking for a family, but the reality was a disaster. The conflict. Two giant egos in a small yellow house. Gauguin was arrogant and cold. Vincent was emotional and needy. They fought about everything, from the nature of art to the women of the town. The tension. By December, Gauguin had had enough. He wanted to leave. For Vincent, Gauguin's departure wasn't just a friend leaving, it was the death of his dream. Part 2. The New Evidence. How much was gone? For 128 years, historians debated, was it just the lobe or the whole ear? In 2016, a researcher named Bernadette Murphy discovered a tiny piece of paper in an archive in California. It was a note written by Dr. Félix Rey, the doctor who treated Vincent that night. The discovery, the note contained a drawing. It showed a clear surgical line. Vincent hadn't just nipped a piece of skin, he had removed the entire ear, leaving only a tiny part of the lobe. The skill, this reveals something terrifying. To remove an entire ear with a razor requires a level of grim determination that goes beyond a momentary lapse. It was a total breakdown of the self. Part 3. The real reason it wasn't just Gauguin. Most people think Gauguin leaving was the trigger, but there was another letter that arrived on that very day, December 23rd. The letter from Theo, Vincent's brother, Theo, was his only source of emotional and financial support. That morning, Vincent received a letter from Theo announcing that he was getting married. The fear of abandonment. To us, a marriage is happy news. To Vincent, it was a death sentence. He feared Theo would now have a family of his own and would stop supporting him, both financially and emotionally. The collapse. Gauguin was leaving. Theo was starting a new life. Vincent felt the walls of the world closing in. The ear wasn't a gift. It was a physical manifestation of his internal scream. Part 4. Who was Rachel? The legend says he gave the ear to a prostitute named Rachel, but even here the new research changes the narrative. The identification. Evidence suggests her name was Gabby. She wasn't necessarily a prostitute but worked as a maid in the brothel to pay off medical bills from a dog bite. The gesture. Why give it to her? Some think it was a twisted imitation of a bullfight ritual where the matador gives the bull's ear to a lady. Others think he was trying to offer a clean part of himself to someone he saw as a fellow sufferer. Conclusion. Beyond the bandage. Vincent van Gogh didn't paint because he was mad. He painted to stay sane. The ear incident wasn't an artistic stunt. It was a cry for help from a man who loved the world so much it hurt. After the incident, he went to the asylum in Saint-Rémy, and it was there, while recovering from this very trauma, that he looked out of his window and painted The Starry Night. He took his darkness and turned it into the brightest light in the history of art. When you look at his self-portraits now, don't just see the bandage, see the resilience. The myth of the mad artist is easy to sell, but the truth of the human being who fought his own mind every day to give us beauty, that is the real story. Thank you for watching. If you want to see the world through the eyes of those who changed it, don't forget to subscribe. Now tell me in the comments, do you think we romanticize the suffering of artists too much? Let's talk.